All done here at Northfield. I'm heading back home. I was frustrated. I was watching Freedom Hill, same as you were, earlier on to start our night, race 5 at Northfield. And I was a little angry because I'd sent out that message the other day, both to you and a little more stringently to our trainers, to make sure that everything was 100% in operating order for the races this week. And then to watch Freedom Hill race the way she did, I was a little angry. I was a little frustrated. It just felt to me like maybe the message wasn't received. And it wasn't the case at all. I had reached out to both Jasons after the race and said, hey man, what went on with this filly tonight? I thought we had any of her issues nipped in the bud. I knew that her liver was a bit high, but we were treating it. How did that blood work look towards the end of the week? And Jason said it was on the improve. He said it had nothing to do with her liver tonight, Anthony. She got a flat tire in the first turn. Justin Irvine stepped on her wheel and flattened. It happens. I mean, I shouldn't even have mentioned his name. It's not a big deal. I've stepped on plenty of wheels. My answer, I guess, I got there and Aaron's explaining to me how the filly actually felt better, but obviously had a flat tire. And I said, well, it was still turning because she come 32 and a piece a mile in 2 minutes. He goes, well, she seemed fine to me other than the flat tire. All right, well, I can't really refute that. There's nothing for me to refute. I can say, well, that's not true. She should have been able to race on a flat tire. Well, that's not really accurate either, is it? I mean, the easiest way to fix this is to draw the blood tomorrow. Now, I had a number of horses down to get their blood drawn that are racing Tuesday, that are racing Wednesday, and Jason brought to my attention, Anthony, it's a long weekend. There may not be any blood drawn tomorrow. You're right. Might put a little wrinkle into things. So with respect to Freedom Hill, not the line I wanted, as I was floating the idea of selling her at some point, but there isn't much I can do when the tires are not inflated. So that is that with respect to her. I didn't even want to watch JK Victory from Post 9. Honestly, should have just scratched him. Should have just scratched him and stayed home. Shipped 2 hours on a Sunday night to Barrie. And it's the end of cottage cheese, and I don't even know how long it takes him to get back home, but love of God, that is a treacherous, horrible, painful ship. And then to have the 9-hole, that only compounds it. Anyway, you got exactly what you were going to get taking him back from Post 9, but what are you going to do? Leave out of there? I mean, it's a kamikaze mission at that point. There's nothing you can do. He's got the 9-hole. We all know he was going to race bad from Post 9. And shockingly, he didn't surprise anybody. So need to draw better with him. But he's another horse. I mean, I know I've spoke about giving him a short break and bringing him back. But to race him in the middle conditions where I hate racing horses. So these are discussions that are going to be ongoing. And racing that's going to be ongoing for the next week or two. Until we get a firm idea of where. I can think of 3 horses right off the top of my head that fit into that problematic zone right now, easily. I'm not going to name them, but probably the same that you're thinking of right now. Wasn't really happy with the way the night started. 9-hole, then I look up 8-hole with Gaslight Hall. He really can't leave that much, but I got to get him near the front with the favorite on the rail. Aaron Merriman moved that horse what seemed like 6 times, and he still won easily. So we were up against it whether we knew it or not. I got him to the front. And he kind of dropped a bit. I'm glad Aaron came back around, actually. I don't think we need that snake cord on him anymore. He's pretty docile. But he raced as good as he could. Are the flip-flops bothering him? Being off 2 weeks, having flip-flops on a deeper track. Listen, I could give you a bunch of bullshit excuses or whether they're true or not. I can tell you what could have went wrong. At the end of the day, he tried a 58 out of the 8-hole, parked to the quarter. Don't think he raced that bad. And then Foxy Seaside finished off the night. This filly, she just brushed that outside knee the entire way. We're pulling up and Aaron said, she likes that knee, eh? I said, yeah, she does. So the premise behind the shoeing change that did not work because she was terrible with the aluminums on was that she would come off that knee a little bit. Now, I believe the reason you see her get out of gear from time to time is that even when you put a little oil on those knee boots and her feet, eventually it wears down, especially when she's touching it and brushing it. Like she rubbed the inside of her knee boot. She rubbed her knee a little bit tonight. It was like there was some blood there. Now she's fine, but what I might do is something I haven't done in 5 times in my life. I might actually put a set of felt knee boots on her. The reason being, they kind of brush off them and bounce off them easier than hitting that plastic boot, and it sticks her. When you see her get out of gear a couple of times, I know for sure that when she hits that knee, it kind of sticks a little bit and throws off her gait. You know, if we were on a bigger track, maybe let her hobbles out, but I've seen that show. It's not that easy with her. She was good tonight. It was a little chilly when she raced, 54-2, and I wanted to get her moving in the turn, because when we come out of the turn is when she switches her leads, and she will hit that knee 2 or 3 times. So I wanted to get her pacing and keep the bit in her mouth. I didn't want her making a break trying to sprint into the passing lane or to the outside. And actually, I don't know what Chris Lamb's horse would have done if I stay in. Does he stay on the outside of me? Is he able to advance to the outside where I kind of got her into the passing lane? And don't think it wasn't weighing on my mind, the break that she made at Scioto, the break that she made on Billy Davis in Mohawk in the qualifier, getting her down into the passing lane. That's where she made that break. So that's another reason I came to the outside with her. Raced good, but just get into her knee a little too much. And rather than continue to tinker, because that was an epic fail last week, I think I don't even know if they sell them at Big D's. I'm sure they still do. We're talking like old school felt knee boots. She doesn't hit her knee that bad. Just pick. But it compounds over an entire mile. And it bothers her. So rather than screw around with her shoes again and screw around with her hobbles and do this and do that, I think I am going to buy a set of felt knee boots. Nice medium pair if they sell them in that fashion anymore. There's probably a couple of old horsemen at Northfield that have a pair in a trunk somewhere, on the bottom of a trunk somewhere. If there hasn't been mice chewing at them. But I might just look on Big D's tomorrow and see if they have felt knee boots. I think that's the way to go. I think she'll like them. Because it isn't that she hits it. Like, that knee's not going to blow up. But it's just that constant rub. And it bothers her. And I think that's what throws her off. I think that's the course change we're going to make with her. Nothing more than going a little old school on Foxy Seaside. Other than that, she was a sweetheart today in the mile. Left out, dropped in the 2-hole, was not aggressive, very behaved, wait for her opportunity. When I moved her, she tried to come forward, and she was coming forward again at the wire. Just going to try and help her out a little bit more. So tonight we had a 9-hole and an 8-hole. One was a fail. The other one was a pass. Gaslight Hall raced good. Foxy Seaside raced good. And quite frankly, I'm skeptical if it was just a flat tire with Freedom Hill. But Aaron says it was. He was driving them. I'm going to defer to him, I guess. But there'll be no flat tires next week. So better make sure that everything's ready to rock next week with Freedom Hill. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Not a horrible night, I guess. When you looked at the entire body of work, you know, a 9-hole for JK Victory, a flat tire for the other filly, a second and a third, with 2 other horses that raced very good. I don't think it was a bad night at all. Now tomorrow, a little different tomorrow. We have, we're going to start our day with Kentucky, Zena Kemp at 1 p.m. Then we have Degas, Jolene Hall, Jailbird Jog. I'm going to make my way down to Southern Ohio. I'm going to race Jason's horse in the earlier race, maybe even race 1, and then race Tomboy Strong in race 3, and I'm done for the day. So that's what my day is going to look like. I'm going to go to the barn tomorrow. I sent out a note to our employees that there's 5 horses I want to jog tomorrow. I want to get a good look at all of them. One of them is our newest horse, Allure. So tomorrow starts a new week. A pretty good week at the stable last week, but you could always do better, and we're going to endeavor to for the rest of the week. For now, enjoy the rest of your long weekend. For those of you, most of you are off tomorrow also. Have a great day. We'll talk to you all very soon.